Hi, this is Danny Hodges, and today I would like to do an educational workshop with you called Frankly Speaking About Cancer, How to Talk to the Kids. So what I'm going to do to start out, I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Frankly Speaking About Cancer, what do I tell the kids? This is a workshop that goes over what children understand developmentally about cancer-related topics, ways to talk to your children about cancer, tips for answering any questions your children might have, and ways you can help your child cope when there's cancer in the family. Cancer Support Community offers many resources. This is just one of them. Cancer Support Helpline is one that I want to briefly talk to you about. It is staffed by licensed professional counselors that are available to assist you finding resources, state and local resources, answering questions, providing you crisis support. We also have a program called Open to Options, which is a program that can help you prepare a list of questions to share with your doctor. And then, of course, our Frankly Speaking About Cancer education series. And this workshop is one of those programs. So to get into it, we're going to start out by talking about child development, what children understand, and common behaviors and feelings they experience when cancer is in the family. I want to just remind you that this is not a one-size-fits-all situation. Kids are going to be very different. And this is a general guideline based on human development. And if your children do not fit all of these categories, that's perfectly normal. This is a general guideline. So we'll start with infancy and toddlerhood. That's ages 0 to 2. Children in those ages don't have any understanding about cancer. They have no understanding about illness in general, but they are able to sense changes in a family routine. They are very aware of changes in behaviors and the feelings and emotions around them by their primary caretakers. So if one of their caretakers is affected by cancer and their behavior or mood changes, maybe they're at treatment a lot, the child might experience symptoms of separation anxiety. This will be seen by changes in eating or sleeping behaviors, possibly tantrums. That's common. Children 3 to 5 years of age, that's about the preschool age, they will have some limited understanding of simple illness. So they might relate it to the common cold. They're going to have little understanding about the difference between simple illness and more serious illness. And this is definitely an age of magical thinking. Magical thinking is when children have fantastical ideas about how things happen. So a lot of fantasy, a lot of make-believe. So they might envision this in trying to relate to illness or why somebody might look different or behave differently. Now, if a child between the ages of 3 and 5 are upset or have cancer-related anxieties, this might be seen again as separation anxiety. It's very common for them to have regression in developmental behaviors. For example, if your child was potty trained, they might start having accidents again. They might have more emotional bedtime routines. They might have more bursts of emotion, and they'll ask many questions. This is an age where children ask a lot of questions anyway, but you might see this increase. Also, you're going to see illness played out in their general playtime. That's how children process their feelings and understand their world, and they act it out. So you might see them tending to sick dollies, or wanting to bandage you up, and those kind of games. For school-age children, around 6 to 8 years, you're going to those children are going to understand a little bit more. They're generally going to understand the difference between simple illness versus a more serious illness. They are very aware of the word cancer. They may have heard it at school. They may have heard it on TV. And so they might have a lot of misinformation. This is also a very common time for magical thinking again. So they might, for example, have an understanding that if I'm angry at somebody, they might feel sick. So it's really important to give children of these ages very specific information about disease, so that they don't make things up that are actually scarier. Common behaviors you might see in a child that age are, again, regression, excess worry or fear seen by repeated questions, or separation anxiety. Again, bedtime routine might be a little harder. They'll be playing and acting out themes of illness, and routine is very important for children of this age. So it's very important to try to keep this consistent for children. There will be a lot of anger or upset if routine is juggled a lot. Children of the middle school age, this is 9 to 12 years old, they have a lot more understanding about basic cancer concepts. Again, they've been hearing it at school, they've been seeing it on TV, they may have already met somebody with cancer at some point. So they're going to have a lot more basic understanding, and they're much more able to access misinformation through school or on computers. So again, it's important to control the message and give them simple, direct explanations about what cancer is, because they're still in this age of magical thinking. They'll make things up, and oftentimes what a child believes in their mind or creates in their mind is worse than the actual truth. So to give them that basic information is very important. Common behaviors they might experience, again, are an increase in worry or fear, anxiety, but they're more apt to start hiding those feelings. So they might clam up, or they might express their fear and sadness as anger or frustration. This is also the time when social groups become very important to them, and they might express a lot of embarrassment around the change in their family situation, or maybe the way the parent in their life looks while they're going through treatment, maybe if there's hair loss. So don't be surprised if you see that kind of behavior. Teens, ages 13 through 18, they are becoming very independent. They are understanding completely about disease state. They have the ability to understand complex concepts and predict future outcomes. However, they are more apt to hide those feelings They are more apt to have anger or frustration about disruption in their routine. Now, remember, teens are preparing to kind of launch in a few years, and so their social network is very, very important to them. So sometimes a teen might act aloof or just sort of annoyed that their own routine is being disrupted. It doesn't mean they don't care. They're still thinking about it. They're still worried, but that's oftentimes how they express it. Teens also are thinking more about life and death and the meaning of life. So they're really kind of chewing on some of those ideas. So even though they might not bring up those concepts to you, you might want to bring up those conversations with them and give them the opportunity to have those conversations. So talking to your children about cancer. This slide says, my children would rather I communicate openly than to leave it to the imagination. While imagination is great in this case, knowing the bad results that cancer can lead to, they would rather have the knowledge. And that's very true. Before you talk to your child about cancer, you're going to want to prepare yourself. You're going to want to think through the conversation. You're going to want to make sure that you are feeling sort of collected, calm, not that it's wrong to show any emotion, but you're just going to want to, be prepared and in that space. You're going to want to time your conversation well. So obviously you're not going to want to do it during a week that kids have a lot going on, or that they have a big test coming up, or they're tired from a long day. Make sure you have sort of an understanding about the language you want to use, so that you're not stumbling over your words or at a loss for how to explain certain concepts. And you're just going to want to really provide a space for open communication. Really, just allow the process to happen. If you think too hard, you'll make yourself nervous. And this is just a conversation that doesn't have to be perfect, because it's not going to happen only one time. You're going to want to have these conversations repeatedly. You're going to want to make them part of your normal daily dialogue. So this doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to become emotional. Just open the door. So some common questions that children might have. What is cancer? Can I catch cancer? What is chemotherapy or radiation or surgery? Kids just kind of want to know the basics of what those treatment modalities even mean. Why are you losing your hair? Do people with cancer die? And are you going to die? What is going to happen? And can I talk about cancer with other people, with my friends and my teachers? Cancer support community has social workers that can sit down with you and help you prepare for these conversations. Our Families Connect program that we offer on the first Tuesday of every month provides you with an opportunity to sit with other parents and ask them how they were able to answer these questions with their children. And we can kind of practice and provide each other with resources on how to deal with some of these questions. Also, it's important to remember that it's okay to say, I don't know, but I'll let you know if I do find out. Or I'm hoping that this will happen, but I'm not really sure. Ways to help your child, tips and tools. First of all, open communication really is the key. I encourage parents to talk about cancer regularly so that it's not a forbidden topic, so that it's not taboo, so that it's not a big deal. Talk about it at dinner. Talk about it when your children are in the back seat and you're driving them somewhere, and you can kind of look at them in the rearview mirror and just sort of have those little bits of conversation while they're looking out the window. That's okay. That's normal. That's how parents talk to children. Um, Allow them to answer or ask questions. Maybe they don't know how to formulate a question. So maybe you have some ideas of questions that you think they might have, and throw those out there. Just let them know that you are open to talk about it anytime. It's important to share and validate feelings. Remember that children learn that emotions are okay because they see them experienced at home. So if you are afraid to become emotional in front of your child, don't be, because children know that adults have a range of emotion and that it's safe to express them. So if you're talking about cancer or any other topic and you begin to cry, that's okay. Just let them know that sometimes parents get sad or sometimes parents get scared and we cry and then we feel better later. And then children know that it's just, safe to do that as well. And validate their feelings. It's also important to know that children might feel curious about whether or not they can still be happy or still have fun. Let them know it's okay to play and laugh and have fun. You don't have to feel guilty. I want you to feel that way. It's okay. So validate those positive feelings as well. Maintain a routine. Children crave routine. And it's important that even in this chaotic time, their routine is as predictable as possible. That's how children feel safe. So stick to the rules, stick to the routine. When children have rules, it helps them feel safe. They know that that is the box that they live in. And if we start becoming too flexible with those rules, children will not do as well. They will they'll crave that routine that they once had. So don't feel like you need to parent out of guilt and let more things slide. Allow your kids to help you. And that could be sitting with you, reading out loud, or it could be allowing them to do an extra chore for you. Or maybe it is to just sit next to you and color. It could be numerous different things. Maybe they can draw you a picture or sing you a song. So allow children to feel that they can do something for you, whatever that is, big or small. And definitely connect with the helpers at their school. Connect with their teacher, connect with their principal, the school counselor, the school nurse, all of the helpers in your children's lives, because they might go to school and be less attentive or more emotional or not be able to focus on their work as much. And so you're definitely going to want to let the school know so that they can wrap their arms around your child and make the child feel a little bit more comfortable. And maybe that means they're given a little extra time to take a test. Maybe it means they check in with their teacher every day for a few minutes quietly. Maybe they have a signal to their teacher that if they just need a little bit of alone time, they can raise their hand and know that they're going over to the counselor's office. It can look like a number of different things, but connect with the school and make that plan for your child. So when to seek outside support, this will look like maybe extreme changes in behavior, maybe violence, maybe severe isolation, any kind of self-harming behaviors, whether it's talking about it or doing it, just completely losing all focus at school or losing interest in activities. You're going to see a tiny bit of that, but if it's more severe or if it lasts for a long period of time, that is when you're going to want to reach out and seek outside support for your child through a counselor or through those of us at Cancer Support Community for referrals out in the community or other type of resources. So this Frankly Speaking About Cancer workshop has an amazing booklet that goes along with it. You've been seeing the pictures and some of the information that is in the booklet. So you can click on you can look it up on this link down below, and we also have hard copies at our office that we would be more than happy to share with you. It's a fantastic book. I think that every parent should own one. So we're more than happy to give that out to you. So here's more information on Frankly Speaking About Cancer, What Do I Tell the Kids? And here's a link to a video that might be useful as well. Cancer Support Community also hosts a talk show, a radio talk show. Here is the link below. And here are some great kids resources. Again, Cancer Support Community of Greater St. Louis. We offer Families Connect program. We meet on the first Tuesday of every month for individual support for children and teens, as well as parents. We provide a meal, and then we separate into individual support groups. We help children expand their emotional vocabulary. We give them age-appropriate information about cancer, and they have a lot of fun. They do a lot of activities, arts and games and reading books, and the parents can have time with one another to support each other, to ask each other questions, and just provide support in general. Camp Kesem is a fantastic organization. It is a sleepaway camp for children who have been affected by cancer. So go ahead and look up some of these resources. I think they will be very helpful. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope this was helpful for you in some way, and I look forward to seeing you all again in person. And if you have any questions, give us a call at Cancer Support Community of Greater St. Louis, 314-238-2000. Thanks.